Hello, this is the One Episode Rule podcast about first impressions. I am Magpie, still sick, but nobody gives a shit. Nobody wants to hear about that. Trucking through Golden Conway, nothing new on that front. Almost done with it though.
Nice.
Why is the opening for Golden Conway 4 like sensual?
It's really powerful. It's a really good opening.
It's really powerful. Like Botoro, I haven't seen Botoro yet, but Botoro's there and he's like doing Pillar Man
Uh-huh.
shit.
Oh, dude. He's crazy. The scene
Um,
where they meet him is oh man, it's a good one.
I saw the
No
episode about
spoilers.
the bear guy. That guy's
Yeah,
crazy.
that one's fun too. But
Um,
yeah.
you been doing anything?
I watched a couple more episodes of Panty and Stocking on
Nice,
the
nice.
they didn't really stick, you know.
Well,
They were great to watch, but it
this
kind of
just
it's a
rolled
lot
over you.
of how do I describe it's almost like watching a stream of consciousness. And you're like, this is great, this is funny, it's great something to watch while you're sitting there eating a bowl of cereal or whatever, but then
You just remember the vibes when it's
I
done.
remember the vibes and I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll remember a joke or two and I'm like, yeah, that was pretty good. But yeah, it's a good show, I like it. It's casual, it's a very casual watch, and that's all
Nice.
I'll say.
Unlike the other show that we've been hitting pretty often, which
uh,
is The Terror, which is a decidedly uncasual show.
Not so casual. Uh, they've got a
Ah,
white-haired anime boy in that.
they do.
That's the
um,
most fucked up way I could describe the polar bear monster. Anyhow,
um,
spoilers.
so you want some news?
Yeah, let's have a news.
Let's hit it with today in disingenuous headlines from CBR,
All right.
which is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure franchise staff, quote, fighting against idiots who don't know anything about AI.
Uh,
So,
right.
Naruyoshi Kikuchi, composer who worked on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, disingenuous, boasted about using AI to produce a soundtrack for one of the franchise's prominent releases. Series creator Hirohiko Araki has previously condemned the controversial tech. Uh, so this guy isn't a JoJo guy. When you think about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, you're thinking about the manga or the anime.
Mm-hmm.
This guy works like fucking tertiary. He's
Oh,
doing part of the soundtrack for part of the live action adaptation of part of the Spoke Rorankashi.
that's that's the worst thing I've ever
And
heard.
he is being a cunt.
And he's basically shit.
um,
Great news. Great to hear.
People didn't like to hear that he used AI and he's just
No.
calling them ignorant. And I'm just like, no, it's because if you couldn't be bothered to make it, why should we listen to it?
Yup. Yup.
So yeah, genuinely
Not good.
just disingenuous clickbait headlines from CBR today.
Great.
Um,
Wonderful.
let's see. In news I barely understand but seems interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Korean Teachers Union has called for the cancellation of a live action adaptation of a webtoon.
Oh,
Uh,
is it solo
union,
leveling?
union, no,
No.
no, sadly. Union's release statement was titled "Violence is not true education."
Oh,
So this sounds like reactionary shit. But
okay.
let me hit you with the premise of this show.
All
Uh,
right.
Get Schooled is a serialization that's been on Naver Webtoon since November 2020. It tells the story of Hua Jin Na, an officer from the Ministry of Education's Teacher Protection Bureau, who takes matters into his own hands to restore orders in schools following the passage of a law banning corporal punishment.
Oh, okay.
This series explores the challenges of maintaining authority in schools and delivering justice. So, if you read between the lines here, what this is like a weird, like I can't say for sure, but it sounds like code for like kind of a weird uh like right wing, the kids is fucked up and the only way to fix him is to beat him kind of
Yeah,
story.
that is what it comes across. I mean, like, obviously there's layers of
And there's
like,
possibly like cultural misunderstandings here,
yeah,
but it's a weird one because you read the initial story and you
strange.
think, wow, that's some reactionary shit from the teachers union, and then you read
Uh-huh.
about what they're trying to get canceled and you're like, wow, teacher union, right? Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe they're right.
Yeah, unusual.
Yeah,
Interesting.
usually whenever somebody comes in an anime or a live action adaptation of something for glorifying violence, it's usually in the other direction that they're
Yeah, it's
concerned about.
usually uh-huh. Fascinating. That's really yeah.
Strange story. I'll follow up
Mhm.
on it if I can.
Sure.
And finally, a heartwarming tale of success, which
Mhm.
is Girls Love Manga Love Bullet that was once on the verge of cancellation gets an international release
Let's
1 year
go.
hence. Coming to
Yeah,
English by
baby.
Yen Press.
Good for them. Damn, these bitches gay. Good for
These
them. Good
bitches
for
gay.
them.
Good for them.
Hell yeah.
Do you want to see? Do you want to see the tweet
I
that this author made announcing
absolutely
this? Because she
yes.
included an adorable illustration.
Let's take a look.
Just hit that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the eagle. He's so confused.
They've got the eagle.
I like
They've
that there's
brought
like
the eagle.
the eagle is glowing even.
And they're popping off with their guns in the background.
Uh-huh.
Yeehaw.
Damn, it's
Good
really
for
good.
her.
Good for her. I love it.
Okay.
Fantastic.
So I thought knew what I had picked out, but I saw a secondary
Oh,
contender that seemed pretty strong.
all right.
So I want to put the choice to you. I'm going to give you two genres, and you pick for which one you're
All
feeling.
right. Let's go.
Do you want a romance with a slightly mysterious sub story going on,
Hmm.
uh, or do you want a comedy with sort of an action isekai feel?
Uh, let's do the romance.
You want the romance?
Yeah, we're doing
All
romance this
right,
time.
it's gonna be Kowloon generic romance then. I shit you not. I discovered this series on Twitter via a post where some guy remarked, "When you've got it bad for a hag,"
Oh no! Wait, what?
and
Wait,
the image was the most attractive person I had ever seen animated.
what? May I see it?
No, I don't
No.
have it
Okay.
anymore. It's from Twitter.
All
But
right, it's gone forever. Thanks for making me curious and then curiosity. Never mind. This is crazy. This show is
um,
crazy. We
so
out
yeah,
here
so
romanticizing the Kowloon walled city.
yeah, that's one element of it, and also yes, Reiko is possibly the most attractive anime girl I've ever seen.
Yeah, you know
Um,
what? That's completely fair. That's
Reiko Kujirai. You want to see this blurb? Do you want to read
yeah.
this
I will
with
even
your
read the
eyes
blurb. I
and
will
speak
look
it
at
with
it.
your mouth?
I will speak it. In the distant future, individuals who adore the old way of life live in Kowloon Walled City, a slum city that serves as a refuge for those who long for the Hong Kong of the past. Realtor Reiko Kujirai, however, craves for the new and exciting places in the area. In contrast, her only coworker, Hajime Kudo, enjoys the nostalgia the city invokes and is put off by anything modern that seeps past its walls. But despite their differing views and constant bickering on the most mundane of things, the two often find themselves enjoying each other's company. One day, a prank gone wrong leads Hajime to make an unexpected advance towards Reiko, after which he swiftly apologizes for. Baffled by his actions, Reiko starts investigating for possible explanations, only to discover a past she has no memory of.
The vibes on this one.
So this show is both so, like, it's a word they throw around a lot in the episode, but it's got the nostalgia factor, right?
It's got hauntology.
Yeah.
Um,
Because, I think it's interesting. Because whenever you first said the name of this, I was like, is that related to the Kowloon Walled
oh
City? Because
yes,
this is a topic we have covered before on this very podcast.
I
One of,
am surprised by what the show is, the feelings the show has managed to evoke in me for the Kowloon Walled City. So,
yes.
because every other time I have encountered it in fiction, it is stuck with me, in the way that a horror movie does.
Yeah, like, it's like
I
this massive, like, kind of empty-ish place that's, like, scary. But what they've done in this show is they've made it cozy.
I would
Like,
have
it's cozy in a way.
I would have never expected this thing that haunted my daydreams, this crushing garden of walls, would evoke this sense of like haunting loneliness
Yes. You know what it gives me?
and unexpected beauty.
It gives me, like the way that people talk about like liminal spaces or whatever, but like a lot of people will say it in like a way that's like, a liminal space can be like cozy or like
Mhm.
a good memory or something. That's how they make it feel, and I really enjoy the vibes. I really
The
like this.
the decay in this is that strikes me as the opposite of the decay in the Flowers of Evil.
Yeah, I could
Um,
see that.
but we should talk about what it's about,
Okay, yeah,
because
let's have a
it's
little
got other
rundown.
vibes going as well.
It's got other vibes.
Which is
This has a lot of things
the
happening.
opening sequence is so quiet and beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Yes.
our heroine Reiko wakes up in her apartment in Kowloon,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and the first thing we notice is that she goes to put her glasses on, and she sees like floating specks everywhere in the air, and it hurts her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then she does the most fucking vaporwave aesthetic shit I've ever seen, because she starts her day by getting up, being effortlessly attractive,
Yeah,
and
she's got her
going.
ass and titties out, by the way.
Yeah, she's wearing a t-shirt that she sleeps in.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, she starts her day by going to the fridge and retrieving three watermelons, and retrieving a watermelon and slicing it into three slices, and then taking it out onto her balcony, and lighting up a cigarette and eating watermelon.
Mm-hmm.
um,
That's another thing. In this particular scene, it doesn't feel like they didn't make this tiny space feel claustrophobic. You
no,
know how a lot of media kind of depicts sort of
um,
Kowloon.
the Kowloon of generic romance is a place that is unburdened by the presence of sunlight.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
The sunlight alleviates the terror,
Mm-hmm. This is
because
true.
there's sunlight in nearly every scene that doesn't happen
Yes.
at night.
Yes.
And this does a remarkable amount to open up the space.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, then she puts on, I forget what these things are called. Are they called like changbaos? But
Her little
uh,
outfit.
uh, her side button, like her button over like top,
Mm-hmm.
with the high collar, uh, and heads to work. And as she's heading to work, we get like snatches of like a news broadcast and people talking in the street, because yeah, here in Kowloon, it is nostalgic to a fault,
Yes.
except for the fact that they are building a thing in the sky.
There's a fucking scary sky diamond up there, and I hate it.
They are building a thing up there.
There's like this like geometric. It looks like one of the angels from Ava. It's just pulsating and like
And
throbbing
they
with
call it
colors.
generic Terra. And on the news, they say that it will be able to grant people immortality
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
preserve their memories. Um, it is so ominous.
It's really scary. They're gonna mention this like a lot. Not
Uh,
even really mention it. It's just gonna be looming.
they're not going to mention it so much as it's just going to be omnipresent, and they're going to try and go about their romance around it without
And
acknowledging
it's
it.
yeah, it's
Um, but anyway, Reiko works at a realtor's, and uh, even more so, she works at like an urban realtor. So it's not like the fucker in your county who tries to resell murder houses.
yeah.
Uh, these realtors are pretty heavily involved with tenants.
Hmm.
And she shows up, and it's this place appears to have like three employees. Her
Hmm.
boss is there, and she says, and he's just like, "Oh, Reiko, you're later than usual. You better clock in, or Kudo might even catch up with you." And as he says that, as she goes to clock in, she goes to punch her card. Kudo arrives behind and says, "Reiko, get out of the way."
He just
He
swoops
cuts
over
the
her and
line,
punches the card like over her
like
shoulder,
pushes her
essentially.
card out of the way and
Yeah.
punches the card. And as a result, because of how long the machine takes, she has to punch in at 9:01 and gets stamped as late.
Yeah. 1 minute
Um,
late.
this quietly irritates her for the next several minutes.
Yeah.
Uh, it's a tiny ass office. It's basically just their boss's desk at the end of the room, and then theirs facing away from each other.
Hmm.
Their two workstations, and she turns around and hands him a stack of paperwork, and she says, "Kudo, these came in today." And he says, "Oh yeah, here, give it to me." And she just keeps standing there, and she's just like, "I think cutting the line is childish."
Yeah. You suck. He's
I
like,
was
fine, I owe
I
you
was late.
lunch.
And he's just like,
Yeah.
"Fine, I'll buy you lunch." uh, and they clock out to go to
Hmm.
lunch. Uh, and she immediately she wanders up to this place called like the Hawaiian Cafe, and she's like, "This place just opened up. I want to try it." Uh, and she's like, "Everything looks so good." And, you can see like clearly that there's like a look of like disgust on his face, and he's just like,
Hmm.
"Let's just go to the regular place." And
Yeah.
they go to the regular place, and she's just sitting across from him, like like seething a little bit, just a tiny bit.
It's gonna keep happening throughout this entire like
And
episode.
and she's just like, I wanted to try that place." And he's just like, "Come on, are you going to tell me that this broth isn't where it's at?" He's like holding it under her nose. And she's just like, "I wanted to try that place before it closed down. You never know how long these places are going to stay open in Kowloon."
You know that the new places always end up closing.
And
And they have a pose where they're just like
they
looking at
get
each other
that, yeah.
angrily.
They're both standing up at their table, faces
Uh-huh.
inches apart when the guy shows up, and he's just like, here's your water moth." Water
Uh,
spinach or whatever it was.
yeah,
It's just a
whatever it was called.
green side dish.
Green goop.
And they just go, "Oh,
Oh, yeah,
yeah."
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and they head back to work. What's the next scene?
Um,
I
she
just
has
remember,
her
I remember,
glasses.
yeah, she's talking, yeah, as they're heading back, she's just like, do you want to get tea if you want to?" And he's just like, "Nah, I'll head back. You should go to the optometrist though," because she had been complaining about her and like visibly like squinting,
Mm-hmm.
complaining about a prescription was off.
Yeah.
So yeah, she goes to the optometrist while he goes back, and when she gets back, she's just not wearing her glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and they're just like, "Could you eye? You okay?" It's just like, "I have 20/20 vision. It
Yeah.
got better.
They got better.
My eyes got better."
Which they have a moment where she's using the eye drops that are related to the generic Terra, from what I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah. Because the company that's like rumored to be behind generic Terra is a pharmaceutical company, and
Mm-hmm.
recently the owner died, and his son took over, and his son is like kind of like a shady like plastic surgery beauty products guy.
Yeah.
Kudo like remarks on it, and it's just like, are you using their eye drops? I can't trust them anymore since the sun took over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She comes back and she's just like, yeah, my eyesight got better. And the old man is just like, wow, you look nice. And she turns around and Kudo's just like, I preferred the glasses. She's like,
Doesn't he? He doesn't he get like really close to her face,
yeah. He has a
and
tendency
then
to do that.
he's like, "Yeah, you got crow's feet."
No, that's later.
Oh, is that later? Oh yeah. God,
Um,
this we got a lot of like almost
there's a lot of memorable scenes, but the order they happen in.
yeah, because it's almost like a vibes based sort of
it, it's I absorbed the vibe, but
yeah.
yeah, that scene happens. I'm sure pretty soon after this, where they're up on the roof and they're burning old documents, and it really nails the Kowloon feel because the roof is covered in trash.
Yes.
Uh, and they've also talked on and off about like various like properties they're involved in, and like the fact that like there's a unit in one of the apartment buildings that hasn't been let in like 6 months, and it's because there's no AC and it takes the full brunt
Oh,
of the afternoon sun because it's on it's on
the
the west side of the building.
mhm.
Uh,
They show an image of this room like cooking in the sun, and it was honestly so scary for some
you
reason.
could smell that room. But yeah, they're up there burning documents. And
Hmm.
this scene told me something about myself that is troubling, which is
Uh-oh.
just like how easily I could be convinced to start smoking again
Oh no.
if I had a rooftop and somebody to light a cigarette off of the end of another cigarette. it would be so it would
It
be
would
so
all be
easy
over. Oh boy.
to get me back in.
Uh-oh.
But but yeah, after they burn those documents, and they talk a little about little about the thing in the sky,
Yeah.
and she's just sort of lightly talking about it, and he's like clearly disgusted by it,
Hmm.
and she's just like, "Oh, so you're against generic terror?" And he's just like, "Of course I am. We don't need that. We'll be punished by God for building things like that."
Oh, he said something about like, yeah, why are they making a fake Earth?
Yeah, building a fake Earth up there. It's not that big.
Yeah, it's
It looks like a few city blocks wide at most,
hmm
but yeah, they stop for a moment because Kudo wants to have a cigarette aesthetically on top of a building, and who can blame him?
hmm
Um, Kujirai sidles up next to him and lights her own, and they stand there and talk for a second,
hmm
uh, and they talk about like he talks about like we don't need stuff like that. Kowloon is for people who like the way things used to be.
hmm
Kowloon is for nostalgia.
Yes, this is
Like
gonna keep coming up.
we don't need new things like that.
Hmm.
Uh, and there's a moment where she's just like, I don't feel any nostalgia for this place at all, but I sometimes feel it with you.
Hmm.
And whenever she turns around, he's like a foot away from her, uh, just looking deeply into her eyes, and she's like, oh.
He's like,
He's just like, you have crow's feet. And he
he
walks
likes
away
to
from
do
her.
things like this. He'll get really close and like it'll be like kind of romantic-ish, and then
Mm-hmm.
he'll say something that completely ruins the mood. And she's just like I feel like she's not having it.
It kind of works though. The thing is,
Yeah.
they're really good together. There's
Yeah,
immediate chemistry.
there is.
Um, so yeah, everybody goes home.
Hmm.
Next morning, the next morning, they start off with
She's got
yeah,
glasses now.
she's got her glasses on, and she's like, oh, you got glasses, and he's just like, they're fake. I couldn't get used to my face without them, so I'm trying to like ease into it. And he's just like, oh, trying to cover up your crow's feet, huh? It's a losing battle, you old 32-year-old. I'm just like, you people are insane.
I am listen, I'm for one glad that we're having an anime with like 30-somethings as protagonist because we feel like we so rarely get that.
Yeah, but the like delusional
I
hag
know.
talk, like like, oh, you've got crow's feet, and I'm in the audience and I have my fucking tongue rolling out of my mouth like a Tex Avery character.
Yeah. Me in my mid-30s screaming.
Especially later,
Yes.
but yeah, they work through the day. They have conversations on and off.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, they're about to shut down, and he's just like, "Well, I'm done. Are you about done?" And she says, "Oh, go ahead. I'll work a little longer." And as she's sitting at her computer, the lights go out, and he's just standing in
Hmm.
the door. And he's just like, "Come on, we're gonna go eat." uh, and he leads her through. Now, this is the part where some of the suffocation of Kowloon comes back, because he leads
Yes.
her through a series of alleyways that are only about as wide as a broom closet.
Hmm.
uh, just long, featureless concrete walls with occasional numbers painted on them.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, that's one of it. They talk about quirks
Yeah.
a bit, and his quirk is he's got because he has a little smudge on his sleeve, and they're just like, she's just like, "Oh, you got something on your sleeve," and he's just like, "Oh yeah, I touch eights." They're just like,
Hmm.
"You touch eights," and he's just like, "Oh, you've seen the numbers painted around here." Well, I touch them. I can't help.
It really also lends to the like how grimy this place is because
Mhm.
like
Just
he is
smudge came off on his sleeve just from touching an
just
eight.
like ew.
Um,
Dirty boy.
this is another theme. It's just like people's like small personal habits make you remember them.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
and yeah, he leads her through, and she's just like, "This isn't the way to the usual place." And he leads her out into a courtyard, and it's like an open air like food market.
Hmm.
Like it's like the Kowloon equivalent of a food truck park, but
Yeah.
a little more respectable, I feel. Uh, and he turns around and then faces her, and he's just like, let me show you what makes Kowloon Kowloon."
Hmm.
uh, and this is romantic. Um,
Yeah.
they visit all these carts. There's a couple of interstitial scenes that I forget here, but it's a montage basically.
Hmm.
And by the end of it, she's just like bent over, and she's just like, "I couldn't eat anymore." She's just like, "You're giving up already, huh?" He's just like, "Well,
Hmm.
let's make this our last stop." And she's like, "Last stop?" She looks up, and they're outside a place called the Goldfish Tea Room,
Hmm.
which is a place I would be at every day.
Yeah. This place is
This
awesome.
place rules, uh, because its main draw is it doesn't have a front window where the front window would be. It's a big aquarium full of goldfish.
Hmm.
Um, and they step in, and the guy behind the counter is just like, "Oh, Kudo, no long time no see." And she's just like, "Oh, you're a regular here?" Uh, and they go and sit down. And he orders an iced coffee, and she just gets one too. Uh,
Hmm.
and they sit there and wait for their coffee. And whenever it comes, the guy just says, just like, "Oh, compliments. The watermelon this year is very sweet."
Hmm.
And he leaves up a tray of 3 watermelon slices uh,
It keeps happening.
after they've finished their coffee. And Kudo immediately everyone smokes so much.
Yeah.
um, but like smoking indoors is a thing that even I'm not used to anymore,
Hmm.
because they banned that in most places when I still
Hmm.
smoked.
Hmm.
But yeah, he lights one up, and she's clearly delighted. She loves watermelon. And she's got her cigarette going, and she takes a bite out of the watermelon, and she said, "Did you know that smoking tastes good after you've had watermelon?"
Hmm.
Uh, and it cuts over to him, and he's just silent for a second. And she's like, "Huh?" She's just like, "Oh, it just reminds me of somebody else I know who said that." And she's like, "I've never heard anybody say that." And he's just like, "Yeah, it's the kind of quirk I like. Little quirks like that help you remember the people who have them." Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, there's a scene of the watermelon rinds left on
Uh-huh.
the plate,
Yes.
and they leave. And as they're leaving the food park, she turns around and she sees the thing in the sky with the moon.
The
Uh,
music that's playing during this, by the way, is crazy.
mhm.
They had some crazy, scary music playing. Like, it was good. Don't get me wrong, but it was vibes, but it
Ominous.
also scared me.
There's a thing up there, but when she turns around, because he calls out to her, he's like, Kujirai, turns around and he's got a goldfish. He's just like, here, take this, keepsake, keep it at your place.
This is irresponsible, but
This is irresponsible. She takes it home and puts it in a vase.
yeah,
I'm
that's not
just like
suitable.
you gotta get a bigger you gotta get a bigger tank.
Yeah.
At the very least get one of those shitty goldfish bowls until you can
Uh-huh.
find something better. Next day, she's it's hot as hell. There's a
Yeah,
like
they
a
have
photomagnetic smog warning.
they have like an announcement over like the whole like city intercoms or whatever.
hmm
Stay
Just like
in out of the heat.
stay inside and look out for indoor heat stroke.
Yeah.
Um, and Kujirai has decided to paint that room that
The
they're
one
having
that
trouble
bakes.
letting
Yeah.
that bakes in the sun.
Mhm.
This is because she's fully like tied her shirt up and she's got the Daisy Dukes on, and I'm just like,
Uh-huh.
this is
They were doing some fan service
this
here.
is too much.
This scene is
But
something. Oh boy.
it's tasteful, but damn,
Yes, but
wolf whistle.
it worked, huh? Yeah,
But
no, it
yeah,
worked.
she's you know it worked.
I
Um,
know. I know.
but yeah, she's painting up the room white, landlord white. But hell, it beats what was there before.
Yeah, it looked real bad before.
And yeah, she's flirting with passing out. She almost falls off the ladder
Mhm.
at one point.
Yeah.
And she stops to have a drink of water and starts on some of the other walls. And by the time we're done with this scene, she looks back and it's just the wall with the just the wall towards the door that's done.
Mhm.
And she's just like, okay, that I'll do that one, and it's clearly progressed into night. And she's
Yeah.
just like, I'll do that one, and then I'm done.
She is not going to do that.
She's not going to do that because she almost passes out, and
Mhm.
Kudo catches her before she can hit the ground. And she's just like, "You're late," and she's like, "Isn't the hero supposed to arrive late in these situations? Besides, you didn't tell me you were doing this." uh, and yeah, he's just like, "Let me take over for you," and he takes the paint roller to the other side. And while he's crouched down and she's just sitting there drinking an oolong tea he pressed
Yeah.
into her neck, uh, she's just like, "Oh no, I'm in love with this man."
Oh, yeah. She's like, "Damn, I got it bad."
Just like I'm fucked up. Um,
Mhm.
the next day, because she's like sitting at home and then and thinking about it, and then the next day she comes in, and the schedule is just like boss is out for business meeting, and I forget what Kudo's marked down for, and she's for a showing,
Mhm.
and she looks around and doesn't see anybody, but she sees a pair of loafers sticking out from behind a privacy screen near the back of the room.
Mhm.
And she walks over there and she looks down and she's like, Kudo's just fully asleep on a couch in the back. And she's like, Kudo-san, don't sleep in here. What if a customer came?
Mhm.
And she thinks about it and she's just like, she thinks about her boss and she's just like, Kudo-kun, you'd better wake up, Kudo-kun. What do I pay you for?
This is the prank gone wrong moment.
Yeah, she gets close, a little close to him, so she can speak louder into his ear, and he slowly wakes up, um, uh, grumbling, and as he's like half asleep, he his eyes fix on her, and he smiles and he pulls her in for a deep kiss
Uh-huh.
that she like flails against for a second. Um, And
Because when this happened, I was like, "Yeah, they're gonna do it." But then I was like, "Wait, what?" Because she was surprised too, and I was like, "Wait,
she was
huh?
like
What?
deeply
Huh?"
surprised. And thrashing. And whenever he finally came to his senses, he just stands up immediately, stock straight, and walks around the corner.
Like
And
a
it's just
robot.
like a robot. And while she just sinks to the floor. Um, and he's just like, "My bad,
Oops,
wrong
wrong
person."
person. You're just like, "What?"
And there's an abrupt scene change to like later that day where they're working.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he's just like, "Oh boy, am I hungry! I didn't get to have lunch today. Could you, Rye? What did you have?" And she's like, pork fried rice." He's just like, "Huh, sounds pretty good. I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna go get some of that. You can clock out if you want."
Mm-hmm.
And he leaves, and she just sort of like collapses on her desk, and she's just like, "He's not hung up on it at all, but
He's just
I am."
completely pretending this never happened.
It's like, I feel so foolish. And she hears a clunk behind her. Uh, and she turns around, and like all of his shit is falling off of his desk because they stacked it like improperly. And she's just like, "Why is he so messy?" And she goes to pick up his papers when she sees sticking out of one of his open drawers is a photograph. Oh yeah, and earlier whenever they had left the goldfish tea room,
The tea
the
house,
guy had
yeah.
said, "It's so nice to see you here with your girlfriend again."
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and she was just like, "Aren't you going to correct him?" And she's like, "It's not something you need to worry about."
He's like,
um,
what happens when you come here with your actual girlfriend? He's
and
like, da 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 da.
and yeah, there's a photograph sticking out of him, and clearly that she just see him, but it's clear that it's him with his arm around somebody. And she's like, that's going to be her. That's going to
Mm-hmm.
be the one he thought of whenever he kissed me.
Yeah.
Uh, and she goes to pull it out, and we don't see what she sees.
We
Um,
can take a wild guess at what she
because
sees, and we will soon have confirmation.
yeah, she gasps about it, and the next scene is her walking through Kowloon without her glasses on, without her fake glasses on,
Mm-hmm.
and she walks into she walks by the goldfish tea room, and she's like, "I couldn't find this place when I was looking on my own, but now I run into it again."
Mm-hmm.
And she comes in, and the guy says, "Oh, welcome," and she goes to sit down, and he brings her a glass of water, and she says, "I'll have an iced coffee." Um, and he goes to make it up, and she's groping around in her bag, and she pulls out the photo again. Whenever he comes back, she's just like, "Ah, yeah, that photo." And she's like, "You know this photo?" And he's just like, "Of course I do. I took it right here." It's
Mm-hmm.
just like we were celebrating. It's just like, what do you mean? It's just like, well, you and Kudo were getting engaged.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, wait, what?
And
How?
we see the photograph, and it's Kudo and Reiko.
Yeah, it's very clearly them.
It's very clearly them, very clearly at the Goldfish Tea Room.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, that's the end of the episode, basically.
Yeah,
um,
this
it's
is
shocking.
crazy. This is
Um,
crazy.
I find this to be really compelling.
It's extremely compelling. I'm a little
The
obsessed.
the central mystery is engaging. The thing in the sky is a constant and uncomfortable presence.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, it does show a different side of Kowloon than I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said, I'm used to Kowloon being mysterious and terrifying.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you have to consider, like, there were definitely people who lived there who would have been nostalgic for it if you think about it.
Of course, there
Like,
were. They built a whole community there, and
yeah.
it wasn't until late days whenever it was becoming dangerous,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
where you were getting like whole alleyways filled with like trash
Yeah,
that had been
exactly.
thrown out from like windows above, and buildings so close together you could walk from window to window.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Right.
but uh, but yeah, I'm used to the SCP about the
Yeah.
Kowloon Wall City. I'm used to video essays about Kowloon Gate, the fucking weird game where you
Mm-hmm.
play a geomancer and you go in there to sort its chi out because it
Yeah.
appeared despite being destroyed 4 years ago.
Yeah, we're used to Kakarembo, I think it was called. Hide and
Kakarembo,
seek.
has references to the Kowloon walled city in it.
Or like
This
Stray kind of referenced it in a way.
this is different. This
This
feels romantic towards it.
It does. It like it feels like, you feel but it's also still got that like air of like mystery and like
Hmm.
what's going on. It's a little scary, but in a completely different way. You know what I'm saying? The
Also, I
city
have to say,
itself is not what's scaring you. What's
the
up?
the, the visuals in this are fantastic.
Oh,
Especially, we
absolutely.
didn't talk about the OP, which I actually really liked. So many OPs these days are lazy,
I know.
but this one I quite liked. This one, I would put this one like just below like Dan to Dan tier,
Mhm.
and Dan to
Yeah.
Dan had a great OP.
Yeah.
But but
Just
yeah,
showing the
this
scenery. Mhm.
this show's incredible.
Yes,
I
it's
will
really
watch
good.
more of it.
I for sure will be watching more as well. I need to know what happens.
I need
It's
to
still
know.
airing, so,
I
like,
need to know what the thing is.
I think there's only, what, like, 7 episodes currently out?
I want to know why.
Something?
I want to know why she has a past she can't remember,
I know.
or if she's the same
I was
person.
going to say, is it her? Does she have, like, a clone? Does she, did her
Is she
memories get
real?
wiped? Is she real? Is he real? What's going on? We'll
Is
just
this
have to find
all?
out.
Is this all a fantasy for someone who lost this life?
Yeah. Who knows?
Is that what the thing in the sky does?
Could be any
so
of
uh
these things.
so
Find out next
anyway,
time on Kowloon Generic Romance.
um so anyway, if you ever wanted to get lost in the uh the fucking mirror maze that happened to oh god, what's his name? I'm running out
Uh,
of steam.
Uh-oh. I don't know who you're talking about. I
Mr. The
can't help
Weekend.
you. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. What is his name? Holy crap.
um
Nope, I can't remember. Mr. The Weekend. That's good enough.
you can do that at oneepisodecast@gmail.com. See, it just happened to me.
That is one the word, not the number. Hey, you can stand on a roof and light a cigarette with us. No, you probably shouldn't do that. But we're on Twitter. We're on Blue Sky. At One Episode Cast.
You know,
Send us a message.
I don't know too much about polycules, but that seems like prime polycule activity is see how many cigarettes you can light from other cigarettes in a romantic way.
Uh-huh. I'm thinking like up to 5. Like
You can
maybe.
probably make that work. If you can
Beyond that,
daisy
it's
chain them and it's not too windy. You know?
yeah.
But
Anyhow,
yeah, that's it. That's the end of the joke.
that's
Goodbye.
that's the show. It was good.